Hey guys, Johnson Space Prom here, and I have some good news. A new update of Boys Basics Plus will finally be releasing this week. As you can see, I have the page here. So I'm gonna be reading this post so you can see what will be coming to the 0.3.5 update of Baldi's Basics Plus. And this was just announced a few hours ago. So very new. And yes, if you're wondering, I will be playing the update, as I've done with previous Boys Bay Plus updates. I have a playlist of playing them. And I will be playing the update, so make sure to check that video out when I release it soon. Well, let's get into this post and see what he has announced. 0.3.5 is releasing this week. Yes, I'm still alive. First off, 0.3.5 will be released this week. It's just about ready to go. I just want to spend some time playtesting it before shipping it. Second off, I'm sorry about the lack of communication over the past year. I'll be talking about what's been going on more in depth in the near future. I'm returning to posting more regular status updates. But for now, just know that Baldi's Basics Classic Remastered's release is just around the corner, and that regular Baldi's Basics Plus development is getting back on track. This update is pretty major for a minor one. I've been working on Classic Remastered over the past year, but a lot of that time was spent working on fixes and improvements to the Baldi's Basics Plus framework, benefiting both projects. Lots of polish, optimizations, lots of eternal changes that will make development smoother going forward. Here is the changelog for most of the changes found in 0.3.5. Additions. Added support for the Steamworks API. When played on Steam, the following features are enabled. Full Steam input support. The game automatically pauses when the Steam overlay is open. An achievement system has been implemented, but the game will not receive any achievements until the 1.0 update. A new file button appears if the game is being played on Steam Deck or in big picture mode. This will open an on-screen keyboard, allowing you to enter your name with a controller. Clicking on the seed button to enable a custom seed will open an on-screen keyboard on Steam Deck, or while the game is running in Steam Big Picture mode. Rumble support. If enabled, the controller will rumble when Baldi is nearby, and when being caught by Baldi. If the controller being used has two individually controlled rumble motors, the side of the controller that corresponds with the direction Baldi is in relative to the player will rumble more than the other. Added a visual effect when getting caught by Baldi, similar to the one in Baldi's Basics Classic. Add a slam effect for when first prize is stopped while traveling at high speed. This sound will get Baldi's attention. Once all the notebooks have been collected, math machines relight for bonus questions. Answering bonus questions will reward the player with YTPs. Added screen transition effects. When moving between menus, a during transition is used. Adjustments. All menu screens now use the in-game cursor. The OS cursor of your computer is no longer used for anything in the game, except for the control mapper. All menu screens and other UI-based screens, such as the field trips, now render to a 480 by 360 render texture, which is then displayed on screen. which ensures all GUI elements remain pixel perfect. The screen uses a shader that can filter the pixels so that they appear square, even on non-integer scaled resolutions, with minimal blurring. This eliminates some strange effects where pixels may appear to be different sizes on some displays. This filter is optional, but it's recommended to leave it on for the best appearance. Create a brand new options menu that is compatible with the in-game mouse and features more settings. Changes/additions include divided settings in the multiple pages. Settings now have tooltips with more info on what each setting is for. Add a rumble toggle. Add a reduce flashing toggle. Currently doesn't do much. Baldi's Basics Plus doesn't have very much flashing at the moment. Add a VSync toggle. Added a pixel filtering toggle for the improved GUI rendering. Separate sensitivity settings for mouse and controller sensitivity, and for the in-game cursor and turn speed. Added buttons to delete a file. The erase toggle on the name select screen has been removed. To reset endless mode high scores, and to reset field trip high scores. Replace all sliders with segmented adjust bar thingies. I don't know what they are called. Improve the design of the rewired control mapper. I plan on eventually adding a fully custom control mapper that uses the in-game cursor and allows for control maps to be saved per file, rather than being shared across all files. As it turns out though, creating a custom control mapper is complicated. For now, the one include with rewired, which is what Baldi's Basics uses to handle input. Should be good enough. Add a button to access the Steam input control mapper if Steam input is active. Clean up the pause menu and add a quick confirmation screen. Update most menu text to use text from the localization file. All tiles, the wall, floor, and ceiling cubes that levels are made out. Now use a single mesh, instead of a bunch of quads as before. These meshes are textured with texture atlases generated at runtime. The reduced mesh count, along with some other adjustments, has greatly reduced the number of draw calls per frame. I'm talking dropping from a few thousand to a few hundred, and improved performance quite a bit. This new tile set required a new system for windows. Windows are now generated similarly to doors, with their own quad and game object, rather than simply being a transparent poster for a wall. Sprite billboarding is now handled via shaders instead of a script, with a few exceptions. This has improved performance a little bit. Moves credits to the About screen. The game now closes after clicking the exit button without any further player input. Volume settings now use Unity's audio mixer system to control the volume of different types of sound effects. Some sounds now have custom volume multipliers. This is used to make several sounds that were too loud before quieter. Improved randomness of color glitching shader effect. Currently only used in the end sequence, but we'll see more use later. Adjusted Text Mesh Pro assets so that the fonts are spacebar. Gameplay HUD elements will now scale such that they remain pixel perfect no matter the resolution. Gave the staminometer, a proper design. Create a custom dithering effect for shaders It isn't bad like Unity's built-in one is. This new method seems to be compatible on everything, including macOS, which the old one didn't play nice with. So now the same shader is used on all platforms, and fog dithering is available on macOS. NPCs now exist in their own layer in order to improve collision. Mainly, NPCs should no longer get in the way of the player trying to click on objects. Posters with text now generate text at runtime, rather than having text baked into the texture. Poster text is now controlled by the currently loaded localization file. The change was made to make localizing the game in the other languages easier. As a result of this change, some posters have had their designs tweaked. Game save data and most options are now stored in separate files. This is in order to prepare for Steam Cloud Save support, which will be implemented at a later date. Some settings, such as resolution settings, will not be synced on the cloud, since they will probably not be the same across different devices. Removed Baldi's Basics Classic Remastered exclusive that was left in the previous version. Optimize the class NPCs use to see the player, so that it no longer generates garbage. Made it possible for sounds to contain multiple subtones. This is used to prevent longer audio clips from having too much text for one subtone being displayed at once. It works how NPCs detect being looked at by the player. Is now much more consistent than it used to be. Reworked arts and crowders' behavior to be more manageable, more similar to how it was in Baldi's Basics class. He will now run away if he sees the player for a short amount of time, whether the player is looking at him or not. What counts as looking at arts and crafters is now a bit more generous. Arts and crafters is now hidden when he spawns, so that he cannot be found in strange locations or being triggered to appear somewhere. WD No Square has always worked such that once used on a door, that door can be opened 4 times before the effect wears off, whether it is opened by a player or by an NPC. Now, No Square is only used up when the player opens the door, not when NPCs open it. Textures and sprites now have their contrast slightly increased as lights get darker. This hump now pauses the environment and NPCs, grabbing the player to tell them about her class. This hump now drags the player further into her classroom, while letting go and locking the doors. Reduce the possible time range for the Gravity Chaos event. Implement a new detour system for NPCs when they target the player. During Gravity Chaos, the system is used to direct most NPCs to gravity flippers, and their current orientation is opposite the players. This prevents NPCs from annoyingly trying, but failing, to collide with the player over and over again during the event. Rework the test speed increase method. It will now increase to a new predetermined value every time the player looks away from the test while in his sight. After a certain number of times doing this, the test will instantly travel to the player's location when looked away from. Be careful. Level loading will now only begin when the elevator screen door is closed. With this change, you can no longer see the level begin to load when starting a new game or being/losing a level. The name entry screen has been moved to the same scene as the main menu, allowing for a smoother transition between the two. Now we get on to the bug fixes. Fixed a minor error in Playtime's animation. Set sprite shares to the unlit sprite material sync. This has fixed some odd issues with certain sprites. Fixed the game loading incorrect window and resolution settings on start. Fixed issues with the skybox rendering weird from certain angles. Fixed skyboxes being blurry on Linux. Fog now properly renders on the skybox. Fix a bug that caused deleted files to not actually be deleted. They would only be removed from the list of in-game names, but the actual file would remain. Fix the line calculation issue. Fixed flipping upside down, not also flipping audio and subtitles. Fixed an issue where the dangerous teleport whirlpools could spawn the player in game-breaking position. Fixed an issue where arts and crafters would try to run from the player, while chasing them or trying to teleport them. Fixed an issue where arts and crafters could collide with the player during gravity chaos while oriented opposite the player. And fix a bug that would soft lock the game. Miss Pump caught the player to tell them to be at her class while in her classroom. Some more changes may be made between now and release. I'll highlight them in a new post when the update releases. Thank you all for your patience as I figure all this game dev stuff out. So, that is it. That is the entire changelog for 0.3.5. Quite a lot. But it has been a while since the last update. So I guess it's understandable. Well, thank you for watching this video. And I'll see you in my next video, which will probably be playing that update.